That's a W.
Made it out. All you gotta do is keep making it out.
Woo! Dubs!
Into Gabby Williams, got hit in the forehead, and it caused 2 black eyes. And you can still see some of the remnants of them, and now she's sporting the bloody lip. She is as tough as they come.
Look,
Here in the first half. Oh, it's Howard finding Sims, who finishes tight quarters. Howard backing in on Williams. Little shake and bake. And the fadeaway.
Lexie Hull stepped onto the court against Chicago, carrying 2 black eyes. And by the final buzzer, she had a busted lip too. But none of that stopped her from putting on one of the hardest, grittiest performances of her career. And what she revealed after the game? That's what really has fans talking. Indiana didn't just beat Chicago, they crushed them while banged up, showing the world they aren't just sneaking into the playoffs. They're rewriting their whole story right in front of us. And if you think that's wild, wait until you hear what Lexi said afterward. It might go down as the defining quote of the Fever's playoff run. Comment, fired up for the Fever, if you're feeling this win.
The day she's been working her butt off to be able to get back, and we've kind of run out of time to be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner. And I think we've all been very open and upfront with her long-term health and wellness is the most important thing. And to be in a position that you need to be in to play at this time of the year, we just ran out of time to get her there.
But here's the question that haunted everyone. How do you win when your superstar is sidelined and half your team is held together with tape? That storm hit the Fever the second Caitlin Clark went public about her season being over. Just days before the regular season wrapped, she told fans straight up, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season." That stubborn groin injury had been lingering since mid-July, refusing to heal the way Clark or the Fever needed. Fans clung to the dream she'd come back, but when the announcement dropped, hope vanished overnight.
Clark released a statement saying this: "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in..."
Indiana's playoff chase had to be torn up and rewritten on the spot. And remember, it wasn't just Clark. This team has been snake-bitten all season long, and the injury list keeps proving it. Sophie Cunningham, done for the year. Sydney Colson, torn ACL. Chloe Bibby, locked on the injury report with her own knee problems. And Ari McDonald, broken foot. That's an entire rotation ripped away. Picture trying to finish a brutal regular season push with your franchise star, your enforcer, your backup point guard, a key forward, and a veteran voice all gone at the same time. Madness. Instead of building rhythm and chemistry, the Fever coaching staff was stuck spinning the lineup wheel every single night. Head coach Stephanie White didn't sugarcoat a thing. She admitted flat out, "It's frustrating, all the injuries that she's had." Talking about Clark's struggles this summer, White made it clear, the groin injury ran out of calendar. "We ran out of time to be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner," she said, stressing that Clark's long-term career mattered way more than forcing a rushed comeback.
It's frustrating, number one, just all the injuries that she's had. Obviously, I wouldn't speak for her, but and the amount of work that she's put in to position herself to be able to play, and then to have to ultimately make this decision. There's disappointment. There's the obvious frustration that's come with not being healthy really for an entire season. But ultimately, I think the big picture is the most important thing, and those are conversations that we've continued to have. And the message has continued to be that it's not her long-term health and wellness, and and her being 100% when she's ready to go is the most important.
General Manager Amber Cox doubled down on that, telling everyone the only priority was preserving Clark's future, not stealing one desperate late-season win. But the cost? Devastating. Take Clark's and McDonald's playmaking off the floor, remove Cunningham's toughness, erase Colson's veteran presence, strip Bibby's range, and suddenly, this roster had zero room for error. Every possession turned into a high-stakes battle, every substitution a gamble. And still, on the bench, Clark didn't look like someone checked out for the season. No way. She carried herself like a leader who was locked in, refusing to let the fight die even while sidelined. She cheered every single bucket. She jumped off the bench for high fives, and even when her sneakers never hit the floor, the cameras couldn't stop finding her. Eyes locked in, voice slicing through every huddle like she was still running the show.
Summer and Bree Hall plays tonight. Boston on a kick out. Mitchell. Oh, she's hot to start. Mitchell finds Dantes, who rolls and lays it in.
For Indiana fans, Caitlin Clark's leadership was alive and electric, even while her body couldn't carry her into battle. And that energy mattered, because the playoff race was savage heading into the week. The Fever were clinging to 8th place, barely holding the Sparks off their heels. One slip and Indiana could have tumbled right out of the bracket. This wasn't about style points anymore. It was about pure survival. Could this battered roster keep it together without their superstar? Could they trust themselves enough to fight back against the pressure?
Mitchell, will she add to it? Whips it back for Dantes. Kelsey Mitchell putting on a show here in Indy.
Look at the spin on the ball. Just one dribble over the head pass.
Mitchell's been brilliant on a kick out to Howard. Mitchell bouncing. Howard, the left hand.
And then getting a stop on the defensive end. I know Coach Stephanie White is happy with her team with that.
Mitchell being hounded by Atkins, trying to shake her. Mitchell bounces inside, and Howard gets the roll.
It stopped looking like a basketball issue and turned into something bigger, a test of will, heart, and pride. That's why the Chicago showdown felt like a boiling point. No spotlight, no glamour, just grit, execution, and the raw guts to answer the moment. And for Indiana, that fire became fuel, sparking the explosion we saw against the Chicago Sky. When Lexie Hull cut through the defense, when Boston pounded inside, when the Fever kept stacking plays, it turned into a statement win. 97-77 wasn't just a scoreline. It was a warning shot. On paper, it looked like just another 20-point blowout. But if you know the history between these squads, you already understand the story is way bigger. Indiana didn't just beat Chicago. They embarrassed them. 5 straight wins against Chicago, by an average of 24 points each time.
She is the team's leading scorer with Angel Reese not available. Hull lob it inside. Boston spins and finishes. So far in the second half, it's been one step forward, one step back for the Sky. Boston turns the corner on Cardoso. Banks it.
That's not just dominance. That's humiliation. It's the kind of lopsided matchup that shows the brutal truth. These two franchises aren't even in the same universe right now. But here's the twist. With all that control over Chicago, Indiana still walked into this game hanging by a thread in the standings. The Fever were barely clinging to 8th place, only one game ahead of the Sparks. That's how fragile it was. One stumble and the bottom could have fallen out completely. Every game had playoff pressure strapped to it, and this one felt like a season-defining moment.
They just got to get into their sets a little bit quicker.
Here's Hull off the Boston screen. She hits. And Indiana is...
I love the way that she's been able to elevate her game.
The youngsters out of South Carolina, who both are having strong seasons, as Indiana has opened.
Instead of folding under it, Indiana flipped the script, turning all that doubt into the most commanding performance of the season, delivered exactly when they needed it most. Kelsey Mitchell once again proved she's the heartbeat of this squad. She dropped 20 points and dished out 8 assists, not just hunting shots, but running the offense like a floor general while still getting buckets whenever the Fever needed them. And right behind her, Natasha Howard put on a two-way clinic. 18 points, 7 boards, 4 steals. She was bruising inside on offense while snatching the soul out of Chicago's rhythm on defense. But here's what really broke the sky. Balance. Indiana had 3 more players in double figures, showing this wasn't a one-woman show.
Players.
Here's Michaela Timpson checking in for her first minutes.
Odyssey Sims lit it up with quick bursts in the backcourt, giving them another weapon that Chicago simply couldn't account for. Aliyah Boston, steady as a rock, went to work down low. She looked calm, confident, and completely comfortable shouldering the load with Clark sidelined. No hiding, no hesitation, just pure control in the paint. Even Aerial Powers came off the bench firing, giving the Fever crucial minutes with her scoring bursts and relentless energy. Every time Chicago tried to settle, she pushed them right back on their heels, proving Indiana's depth still had teeth even with half the roster on the injury list.
That came in the second quarter. Indiana's just been able to hold Chicago at an arm's length here tonight. And Natasha Howard putting together one of her best games of the season.
Missing that little bunny, just the possession before, comes up through the contact, goes straight to her chest. Not a...
Sims finds some space and can't get the roll. Howard charging, tips it, comes down with it, and flips it home.
That's why this wasn't just some random 20-point blowout. It was proof. Proof this team had grown dangerous. The numbers don't lie. 27 assists to just 9 turnovers. That's surgical efficiency. Think about it. A roster that's been shuffled like a deck of cards all season suddenly played like a machine. Nobody out there was chasing selfish shots. They moved the ball, trusted each other, and punished Chicago every time the defense slipped. Possession after possession, Indiana turned chaos into high-percentage looks, burying the sky long before the final buzzer. And here's why it mattered. This wasn't just another tally in the win column. This was the night Indiana grabbed control of their own playoff fate. Sweeping Chicago wiped them out of the picture, locking the Fever into the postseason. And with Seattle and Golden State results breaking the right way, the door to the 6th seed cracked wide open. So yeah, the scoreboard said plus 20. But step back and see the sweep, the positioning, and the balance. And you realize it's so much bigger.
By my rough count, the Fever have beaten the Sky by 12,000 points in their 5 games this season. I'm not perfectly sure on that number, but it seems correct. As they smack the Chicago Sky yet again, basically, they've already been in a good playoff position, but cement a hold on a playoffs.
The Fever didn't just beat the Sky, they dismantled them, proving their identity is bigger than one superstar. This Fever identity isn't built on one star. It's built on resilience, grit, and execution from every corner of the roster. And at the heart of it all was one performance that stole the night. Lexie Hull didn't top the scoring charts, but her bruised, bloody warrior showing became the headline. Fans couldn't stop asking, what's tougher, battling through 2 black eyes and a split lip, or delivering the post-game words that hit like gospel across Fever Nation? That's where Lexi owned the spotlight in a game already dripping with toughness. She walked in still wearing the scars of her violent collision with Gabby Williams just a week earlier, both eyes dark and swollen, her face marked like a badge of survival. She didn't hide them. She stood tall, bruised but unshaken, ready to log minutes anyway.
The 2 black eyes, she smiles in a way because it just exemplifies your toughness. Do you feel tough in these kinds of situations with these 2 black eyes?
I mean, that's what people keep telling me. Every time she sees me, she smiles and then she says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "You don't need to be sorry. This is what it is." And when I'm playing, like, I forget about it, and then I go and look at the mirror. I'm like, "Oh shit, they're still there." So yeah, I don't really think too much about it because I don't necessarily feel them all the time.
Yeah, and you're still able to see completely fine?
Yep.
Right.
Nothing.
And then, as if fate wasn't cruel enough, Camila Cardoso caught her across the mouth in the second half, leaving her lips split and blood pouring. But here's the thing. Bruises weren't about to stop her. Lexi refused to sit down. She strapped right back in, still fighting, still grinding. That refusal told fans more about who she is than any box score ever could. With Clark sidelined in street clothes, With Cunningham, Bibby, and McDonald nowhere near the floor, Indiana's roster looked gutted. But Lexie was the one who embodied the message. You don't survive without toughness. She lived it out loud. No sympathy, no excuses, just sneakers laced, body aching, and minutes played like a soldier who won't retreat. And the wildest part? She's doing all this during the best season of her career. She's not just surviving, she's thriving while banged up. And the entire Fever identity is rallying around that warrior spirit. Lexie Hull isn't some role player just filling minutes. She's a straight-up difference maker. Across the board, points, rebounds, steals, assists. She's hitting career highs.
Resilient, nature of our team. I think one other thing that sometimes goes missed is just the character of these women, right? Especially this group that's been here, that's gone through all of this, and then the ones that we've brought in. We brought in with O and Shea and AP. I mean, these are women who care about winning. These are women who care about one another. These are women who sacrifice every single.
From deep, she's already shattered her personal best, knocking down 50-plus threes this year. That's not luck. That's growth. That's the leap every young player dreams of. And she's taking it at the exact moment Indiana needed it most. Her teammates and coaches see it loud and clear. Head coach Stephanie White didn't hold back, saying flat out that Hull epitomizes what the Fever want to be, resilient and fearless. And let's be real, praise like that isn't handed out for free. It's earned. Earned by playing through pain, locking in on defense, and refusing to ever let a game slip away. Ask anyone in that locker room. They'll tell you Lexie sets the tone. And this isn't just a one-night miracle. It's been her relentless consistency game after game. Sure, her shot is deadlier than ever, but her defense? That's the glue that holds Indiana together.
Kelsey Mitchell, brilliant once again. Lexie Hull playing through a busted lip after she's played through black eyes, which came from the knot on her forehead, which, is sort of exemplifies the Fever season, the way they fought through things. You got all players on crutches and carts before the game. Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, ruled out for the season. It makes you think what could have been. But what is a smacking for the Sky whenever they face them, and a playoff spot almost assured for the Indiana Fever.
Against Chicago, she turned into a nightmare for their guards. She hounded the perimeter, wrecked their rhythm, contested every trip, and took hits to the body without flinching. Elbows, contact, bruises. She absorbed it all, never backing away. That's why the numbers don't lie. Indiana's defense tightens the moment Hull steps on the floor. She disrupts scorers, communicates like a general, and never takes a single possession off. And then came the mic drop moment that tied it all together. After the win, reporters asked her about those black eyes. Lexie Hull embodied the Fever's warrior spirit. Her words after the game weren't just a quote. They were a battle cry. We play for each other, healthy or not, and every bruise is proof of that fight. In that moment, she became the living symbol of what Indiana basketball stands for right now. She's not just having the best season of her career, she's carrying the story of a franchise that has redefined itself.
On that play.
I didn't know exactly what happened when it happened. It was kind of just like a clash. But looking at the video, it just, Gabby and I ran into each other. Unfortunate, unlucky. I think we both have knots on our heads, so we both kept playing, so it's all right.
Were you pretty dazed when you...
Yeah. I think it's more of like what just happened, big like collision. I just need some time. Felt my face, felt a growing knot. So that just...
And the contrast couldn't be sharper. While Indiana was building a culture of resilience, their opponent across the court, Chicago, was unraveling in real time. What does it say when a team missing 5 rotation players can still control their playoff destiny? Indiana answered that loud and clear against the Sky. Coming in, the Fever were hanging on to 8th place by a single game over the Sparks. But after blasting Chicago and watching LA fall to Atlanta, Indiana leapt into 7th, holding their ground with authority. Suddenly, it wasn't just about surviving at the edge of elimination. No, the conversation flipped to climbing higher, maybe even chasing down the 6th seed if other results kept breaking their way. And let's be real, the significance can't be overstated.
Get the brooms out!
Get the brooms out. I got my dustpan handy. We sweeping up the Chicago Sky. They are toast. They are done. We gonna hold on to our broom for this entire blog. Listen, the Indiana Fever just absolutely smoked the Chicago Sky. What a win.
That 5-game season sweep of Chicago wasn't just pride. It carved history. The Fever outscored the Sky by the largest point differential ever between two teams in WNBA history. Pure domination. But more than humiliation for Chicago, this win opened Indiana's path forward. With the sweep, the Fever guaranteed themselves back-to-back playoff trips. A shocking turnaround for a franchise that spent nearly a decade trapped at the bottom, and with Seattle slipping at the wrong time and Golden State staring down a brutal schedule, opportunity is suddenly everywhere for Indiana. Indiana didn't sit around hoping for handouts, but let's be real. They'll take every break they can get when the margins are razor thin.
And what it meant seeing her fight through what sure was not very pleasant.
I feel like Lexi's the definition of tough.
Yes.
I think when you just think of her as a player, the way that she hustles, she likes to get loose balls, extra offensive possessions. That's what she does. I mean, she got hit, she came back and just continued to contribute again. Was a pest on defense, just making her presence felt, offensive rebounds, and that's just who like.
In a race this tight, every slip from another team feels like gold. And give credit where it's due. Head coach Stephanie White saw this storm coming months ago. Since July, her message never changed. Every single game is a playoff game. That mindset hardened this roster. No one was staring at standings or circling dates on the calendar. They came in every night with postseason urgency. And now that mentality is paying off in the season's final week. That's why this playoff berth is bigger than just sneaking into the bracket. It's proof. Proof that Indiana isn't some one-woman show. They've built toughness, balance, and trust from the ground up. That foundation has transformed into a full-blown identity, one that refuses to die, even without its superstar.
And Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Well, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
And here's the scary part. Imagine dropping a healthy Caitlin Clark back into this organization. What feels like resilience today suddenly looks like the prologue to something massive. A dynasty in the making type of massive. Win what? Win. Indiana didn't just grab playoff control with that 97-77 demolition. They rebranded what this franchise stands for. This wasn't about one star carrying the weight. It was about grit, depth, and a battered roster flat out refusing to fold, despite losing 5 key players.
Great stuff. That's the most complete game we put together in a long time. We made more free throws than they attempted. Yo, hey, that is a difference maker for us, and that will be a difference maker for us. 22 assists on 36 made field goals. Total team effort.
AB, 1,000th career rebound. Best player in Fever history to do so.
Things like these.
And Kels set a new franchise record for most points in a single season.
Sweeping Chicago by an average of 24 points didn't just prove dominance. It stamped resilience into the Fever's DNA. And let's be real, it made the win even sweeter, knowing Angel Reese wasn't even on the floor, suspended after racking up her 8th technical foul of the season. Chicago was already spiraling, and Indiana made sure to twist the knife. If the Fever can dominate while patched together with half their roster on crutches, just picture what happens when Caitlin Clark comes back healthy. A foundation that's already been hardened by fire is only going to get scarier. Comment, fired up for the Fever, if this win has you hyped. Like, subscribe, share, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.